I bet we have rabbit again. I'm getting sick of rabbit.
Go tell the commander. I'm sure the...
My hatred for the Empire is vested only by love for my countrymen. You're going to Fort Neugrad. They have some of our boys locked up there. But with a little luck, we can turn that to our advantage. I've sent some men to scout out the area. Meet them. See if you can't find a way to slip in, free our men, and take over the fort. They'll never suspect an attack from the inside. This won't be easy, but that's why I'm sending you. You got the grit to get this done? Good. Don't die out there.
Alright, so I've got to take over a fort. What time it is? Oh, it's fine. I think I'm probably going to the right one. No. Thankfully I'm not.
I remember you. You were with us at Helgen and Whiterun. Glad to have you with us. How are you? These are dark days. But at least we know we're doing our part to make things better, eh? I guess I'm doing all right. I need this to go well. This is my first real command since they promoted me after Whiterun. You know, some nights when I close my eyes, I see the battle stretched out before me, like I'm still there. Do the men you killed haunt you? Mine do. I suppose you're right. They say it gets easier. I'm not sure if that's a good thing. But never mind all that. We've got a job to do. We found a cave under the lake. With luck, it'll lead into the prison. I need you to sneak in there and free our men, killing anyone inside as you go. Once you've rescued the prisoners, head out to the courtyard. We'll stand guard out here, and rush in as soon as we hear fighting. Should be fun. Talos preserve you.
This must be that beautiful Skyrim weather I've always heard about.
now to sneak in. Alright, so at least need to get by this area right here. I don't see any tangos on the walls, so this should work. Alright, there's one. Why did that fail? Oh, just wonderful. I'm gonna try that again. I don't understand why that failed. He didn't see me. This should only be down for one moment. So the description on that is a little bit vague. Especially when he says sneak in, kill anybody along your way. It's not what he means. Apparently.
We're running out of bread. I hope the supplies get us.
Some say you're going... They have some... I've sent some... They'll never... This won't be easy, but that's why... Good. Don't die out there.
Bear in mind when this guy says sneak in, kill anybody along your way, apparently do not. At least not until you're inside. And if it fails on the inside, I'll just go through with it.
I remember you. You were with us at Helgen and Whiterun. Glad to have you with us. How are you? Good to hear. I need this to go well. You know, do the men you've killed haunt you? I'm not... But never mind all that. We found... We'll stand guard out. Should be fun. Talos preserve you.
so I know one walks this length. I could try to sneak around the other way. Alright, I didn't run into that one again. The cave should be around here somewhere. Off to my left somewhere. This will be cute. It looks like I need to get into the fort itself. Oh, that must be the... I think I know what that is. That must be the door that leads inside the fort. Yeah, that's inside the fort itself, which means there's a cave around here. That allow me to sneak into the fort. There we go. This is the cave. Heard someone's voice.
Get me out of here.
Okay. That is the Stormcloak.
Hey.
Seems they somewhat know about this place. They placed down a bear trap. With the key.
Hey. Hurry. Hey. Hurry.
Got him.
Hey.
This may prove useful.
Get me out of here.
Patience, patience, and patience. I'm gonna see if I can actually unlock the door on my own without the key.
Thanks.
There is no sense in wasting
The guard has the key.
these locks when I can actually get a bit of experience from them.
Let's teach these bastards. West. All right.
What's your room? Yeah, give me a good firing platform. Then I need to take over the fort from the inside. See how long I can stay in stealth mode. Not long.
We're running out of bread. Hope the supplies get here soon. You must be all right if you've got time to complain.
Where'd you come from?
Hope I don't grow guard. Go tell the commander. Sure the food in your arse will take your mind. There's more of them somewhere around here. Running out of bread. Hope the supplies get here soon. You must be all right. Time to complain.
This will give me a good view. I don't see anybody else.
There's more of them somewhere around here. Lead the way. Your arse will take your mind off your troubles.
Must be inside the main building, I guess.
Tell the commander. I'm sure the food in your arse will take your mind off your troubles.
make it easy hunting them down. Oh yeah, I need to get my arrow back. Oops. You don't have to fire them, you can cancel it. I just accidentally fired it.
Where'd you come from? Show yourself!
It's possible they're asleep. Or a number of them are asleep. Just like that.
You're back. Call yourself a warrior.
Who's there?
No, this ends now.
Done and done.
I was gonna feed on one, but I can wait. Apparently. Just two more from the looks of it.
Where'd you come from?
That's the best you can do.
Commander's
Done
down.
and done.
Great work. Get back and report our success. I'll stay here and clean up the mess. Glad you were here. Couldn't have done it without you.
Yeah, they probably could have. I already took that. That was an accident. Didn't mean to sit down. Hey, and thank you for watching. I'm sorry I took a moment to see what you had typed. I'm doing the Civil War storyline on the Stormcloaks side. Many arrows, but I got a number of them from each of these soldiers, so that's okay.
Soldiers gleam like fresh fallen snow and clank like a kitchen. I'll fight the entire legion myself if they don't dare show their faces.
should almost be back to the camp now. Where that depends. Excuse me, depends on where I'm. Oh, never mind. Looks like I'm gonna have to head all the way back to Windhelm to be given the next area of operation. Alright, so that at least clarifies that. Riverwood. Which means I should be passing Whiterun up ahead. If I were headed to Riften, I'd go turn around and go back the other way. Yeah, actually, what am I doing? Especially since it's almost morning. The reason why I'm having to pay more attention to the time is because this character is a vampire. And vampires in Skyrim can fight during the day. It's just not very easy and for not very long, since you don't regenerate. So that means whatever stamina you use, it's pretty much gone until you can get into a situation where you can regenerate, or you take a potion instead, which means fighting during the day as a vampire is not a good idea. And also, fast travel during the day will automatically kill you. And if I fast travel from here to Windhelm, there's a chance I might end up showing up in the morning and die instantly. Ironically, you could travel normally like this during the day, and it's iffy if someone runs into you, since there's a good chance they can attack you, hit you, and kill you. But if you're careful, you can do it. now it's 5 o'clock. The thing to remember is that sunlight in this game starts at 5. So that means your blood starts boiling at 5 o'clock and stops boiling at 7 p.m. One thing to note is I'm not suddenly losing health, which is a good thing. However, at this point I will not regenerate. Not outside, at least. So that means if I get knocked off the horse, I should be able to cast Arvac one time. And then unless I use some type of magic, I won't be able to again until I get to my location. Where am I going now? I'm going back to Windhelm to report to the leadership that the fort I have been sent to take it over has been taken over, and I'll probably give it a new area of operations next. For the next stage of the war. Already Whiterun has fallen. So I suspect we'll be marching through each of the provinces that are still loyal to the Emperor. Or the Empire.
Right now.
I don't know who you think I am and I don't care. Leave me alone.
Well, you have a secondary form, which allows you to do quite a lot of damage. That is the Vampire Lord form. And that is if you do the Dawnguard or go through the Dawnguard DLC. Regular Vampire doesn't have this, I don't think. As far as your abilities, you gain them and lose them depending upon how long it's been since you fed. So it's pretty good, but there are major consequences to it as well. Once you've taken this, you take a hit towards your fire resistance, because vampires are weak to fire. The only thing about that is if you play as a Dumber, then that fire weakness is actually washed out, because the Dumbers have an innate resistance to fire that is equal to the vampire's weakness to fire, so it basically washes out that weakness. With the others, you have a major weakness towards any fire weapons or anything that breathes fire, such as dragons, fire-breathing dragons, which will make it complicated there. It's powerful, but it has weaknesses that balance out that power. And you see, your strength grows as you hunger. for every 24 hours you go without feeding, you become stronger. Side note to that is that you become more visibly a vampire, so people start noticing you more too. Which is not necessarily a good thing either. But as I said earlier, fortunately you can walk around during the day. It's just you won't have any advantages if you do so. For example, if you swing a weapon, the stamina that was used to swing that weapon is lost. You won't regenerate that back until you get into a situation where you can regenerate that back, and that is not outside. So you have to be excessively careful during the day, especially
they say
outside.
Ulfric Stormcloak murdered the High King with his voice, shouted him apart.
If you're inside a cave, for example, you might regenerate. They may or may not do anything. For example, they notice me as a vampire now, but they won't act on it. And the first signs are basically your skin is pale, and they'll comment on that. If I let it go through to the end, they may or may not attack. They would attack before in some of the other games. They might or might not here. I haven't let it get that far yet. So it's iffy. But they shouldn't attack, in theory.
I'm proud we liberated Falkreath from the Empire. In many ways, it's the heart and soul of Skyrim, not to mention its rather strategic position. Some brothers have taken to calling you Bonebreaker, evidence of your ferocity and determination, a fitting name. So we shall all call you thus. The war demands so much from all we have to it and to the people. But I've kept a little something to offer you in appreciation. Please take this on behalf of all the brothers and sisters. And I need capable and loyal warriors close at hand. So I'd like to offer you a home in Wenhel. Speak with my steward, who'll make the arrangements. Get over to our camp in the Reach. They need every able body they can muster. For Skyrim!
Honestly, I kind of enjoyed playing as a werewolf more than a vampire. But I did this one for a what if you actually joined the vampires in the Neugrad DLC, since you do have an option. And so I just haven't changed back. Mostly to also see how it plays through. As a werewolf, you have many of the advantages without a number of the disadvantages. The only thing is, while you're a vampire lord or a werewolf, you can't really pick up anything. So in other words, if you're going to blitz to a level as either of those...
The Dunmer get their drinks at the new Nissa's Corner Club.
Yeah, that's right, I got
Why
to
they
talk to
can't just
Stuart.
call it a tavern?
You have to wait
The
until it wears
Stormcloaks are
off.
finding victory across the land. I'm not much of a strategist, but Lord Ulfric listens to my counsel all the same.
You know, 12,000, I don't know if I have
Travel
that.
safely.
Yeah, I haven't
It's
even gotten
dangerous out
close to
there.
that. Alright, I'll have to buy that some other time. Now I just need to wait until 7 p.m. Or at least close to it. Bear in mind, this is not a problem with werewolves. With werewolves, you can change once a day, and it doesn't really matter when you change.
I used to be an adventurer like... Lightly armored means light on your feet. Smart.
No lollygagging.
Some of what I know about vampirism comes from the other games, and some of that has changed. For example, in Morrowind, if you were to stay outside during the day, you would slowly die. Or quickly die, depending. But you would take damage while out in physical sunlight. That doesn't seem to be the case here in Skyrim. And I'm not sure if that is because of the Daedric influence. And there are two different ways to become a vampire. One is to get the disease and to become a vampire. That's an offshoot of the Daedra. It's not really a curse, but the Daedra blessing to become a vampire. And it could be that I became a vampire because of the Daedra and because of the Dawnguard DLC, that I'm not taking direct damage during the daytime, which may throw some other things off too. I've gone 3 days so far and they haven't attacked me. If I go further than 3 days, say a week, they might actually attack. Oh, and the Dawnguard will attack you on sight. There's also another thing. If anyone sees you feed, they will attack you because of that too. Going through the Dawnguard DLC is something you might want to do anyway, because this is one of the rewards during the quest when you go into the Soul Cairn. You have the option to find Arvak, which is this horse, and this will allow you to summon Arvak in the physical plane. And the good thing about him is that he's basically unkillable. Although he can be banished back to the Soul Cairn. But all that means is all you need to do to get him back is just recast the spell again, and he'll return from the Soul Cairn. So in other words, he's basically turned into almost a Daedra. Or at least the lower forms of Daedra, who can't be killed as well. Lower forms of Daedra, I probably should clarify, means the imps. And some of the more powerful ones, anything below the Daedra princess. I should be near to reach fairly soon. This being my area of operation. So it looks like I'm probably going to either be going against Markoth or Morsal. Either one are a strong possibility. Since both of these two cities are loyal to the Empire here in Solitude. But I'll find that out when I get there. This is a fairly major site as well as Labyrinthium. It's one good way to actually travel through this mountain range. The only thing you have to watch out for are the frost trolls. The Reach is an interesting area of Skyrim. It is somewhat split between the Nords and also the Bretons from Daggerfall. To a degree. And the two don't necessarily always get along all that well. part of that is from the fact that the Bretons are half-elves, basically. They're a mixture of men and mer. And with the exception of the Dunmer, relations usually aren't that great between the two. And with the Dunmer, it's complicated. It's far more complicated, and it's always usually bad. See, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, and it just goes all over the field with them. But also a major difference between the two is because Dunmer tend to be Daedra worshippers and ancestral worshippers. They don't react to the Nord the same way that many of the other Mer, primarily the Altmer, or many of the Altmer, react to them. So it's incredibly unlikely for a Dunmer to be against Talos being among the Aedra, or being adopted into the Aedra, where Altmer see that as blasphemy, or many see that as blasphemy. Not all of them do. And really it's a small faction that actually have the biggest problem with it. And it seems that small faction has taken over the Somerset Isles. So, how far that'll go, I don't know. It also is interesting. Their position actually is an older position as well, which sort of fits well with the dragons returning and the return of the Dragonborn. Which, interesting enough, the Talos, being one of the most famous of the first Dragonborns, wasn't the first, but one of the more famous of them, ascended to Aedra form as a Dragonborn. So that's just an interesting side note. Also, with the things that you see in the game, with dealing with the Empire, I'm wondering if you're going to have a return to the true Empire in the next game, or if it might detail that. And again, that's just pointed out because the story you have as Dragonborn seems to mirror that of Talos before he basically kicked off the Empire. What time it is, midnight. I'm not going to be able to do too much. I'm going to have to wait till the day again.
It was anger that brought each of us here, but it is love that keeps us fighting. Get over to Markarth. Rumor has it, the Jarl's steward, Rayrek, is a faithful Talos worshipper, if not a true son of Skyrim. He still supports the Empire after all. You might be able to persuade him to aid our cause. Indirectly, of course. Wouldn't want to sully his reputation, would we? You'll need to be careful with this one. The Jarl's men won't look kindly on you rummaging through the steward's quarters. I can always count on you, can't I?
Alright, so Markarth. That's not a surprise, I suppose. City I'm going to now is a city built on the ruin of a Dwemer city. They're commonly called dwarves. Although here in Elder Scrolls they're not, it's not really the same thing. It's like the Mer really aren't elves either. But they're just called that mostly by human. The Mer don't usually call themselves elves. And it's important because the orcs in this game are also Mer. Which is something that the Altmer aren't really fond of. I don't think the Wood Elves care one way or the other. But you might find some that aren't fond of that either. I don't think the Dumner really care one way or the other. Or generally speaking, the Dumner really don't care one way or the other. But their relations have always been more with the Nords and the Angorans to the south from the Black Marsh, and not all those have been good. I'm almost at the hour mark, so I'm going to take a short break here and then restart the stream for the next episode. I'm trying to keep each of these under an hour, so thank you for watching. This should only be down for 1 minute.